Hi and welcome to another Australian Formula One podcast. As always, you're joined by Max and Pep. And mate, we're at the new year now, 2008, and Happy New Year everyone.
Happy New Year guys.
And Max, we've got some launches soon in F1. We've got Ferrari launching next week, and we've got pretty much most of the teams now confirmed for their launches. So we've got that to look forward to, and also we've got the testing in mid-Jan in Spain. But we thought we'd talk a little bit today about basically how 2008 is lining up, Max, the drive dynamics, the team lineups, what's going on. Mate, it's a fairly quiet time of year, but it's a good time to look at, basically we've got 4 new drivers, we've got two new circuits, and we've got 1 new team.
Yep, absolutely.
So as always, there's heaps going on in Formula One, mate.
Even when there's nothing going on, there's lots going on, and that's what we love. That's what we love about it. It's been a long off season. I think you'd all agree.
Yeah.
But, as Pep said, we're gearing up to 08, which looks like another very interesting season. 07 was a great season, bar the politics. Let's hope 08's a great season with no politics. But it's shaping up to be good, mate.
Yeah. Well, once the new year's over, it's kind of like, okay, here we go. Car launches, let's see what the new liveries look like, if there's any aerodynamic changes. So we'll be looking at those cars and looking at the launches as they happen.
Sure.
But for now, mate, let's just go through each of the teams and the driver lineups and give our thoughts, mate. So the best place to start, of course, is the world champions Ferrari. Kimi and Massa, of course, continuing on for next year, mate. I personally think they're going to continue to be very strong next year. No tips for this video, but just general thought. I think they're going to be pretty strong, mate. Yourself?
I'd be surprised if Ferrari weren't strong. They've got an evolution of last year's car. They're starting in 08. It's a shorter wheelbase version of last year's car. As I'm sure you'll all recall, last year's Ferrari was quick in a straight line, but struggled along some slow and medium corners at certain tracks. So they've gone from a long wheelbase to a short wheelbase, so I've no doubt that Ferrari will be once again a force to be reckoned with next year, mate. What do you think of their driver lineup?
Oh, they're going for continuity, obviously signing Massa for a long-term contract, and Kimi's world champion now, so it's a strong driver lineup. I've been more and more impressed with Massa over the last few years. I think he's a solid number 2. Can he make
the leap up? Can he make the next step next year, Pep, do you think, in a Ferrari?
Who knows, mate? Anything could happen, but at this stage I still think Kimi's going to do better than Massa, and I still expect the Ferrari to be very strong next year. Definitely a world championship contender. So
for sure. No surprises there.
No, exactly, and their car hopefully will be their own car next year,
and have no parts from no other team's dossier on there. Let's keep that quiet.
So, mate, that brings us to McLaren, who's got Lewis and Hakey, and Lewis, I think, will be cemented in as a firm number 1. I think Hakey will still do very well. I'm looking forward to seeing what Hakey can do. A lot of people said during the last season in 07 that Hakey had a lot to offer. So I'm expecting again McLaren to be continuing on to win races and also to be a championship contender.
Again, no surprises there.
So Hakey to win races, mate.
Oh, that's that's a surprise. But as far as McLaren's concerned, no dramas about them once again being a championship contender. I wonder if they can put everything behind them that happened in 07. Heikki Kovalainen, he's got some pretty big shoes to fill in Fernando Alonso. Heikki had a very slow start to his first season in Formula One, but came good in the last, particularly the last half of the season, and outpointed Fizzy. I think it's fantastic that he's gone to McLaren, and I think he'll do a good job this year. Pep, it'll take him a little while to get used to a new team and all that sort of thing. Lewis is undoubtedly the number 1 driver at McLaren. And Hakey would know that, and if he doesn't know it, then his people will tell him very quickly that he's subordinate to Lewis. But I think Hakey will, I think he'll come good, and I think he'll have a pretty solid season, providing McLaren put out a decent challenger.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Hakey can do, and also he's new to the team, but I think he can be quite strong and actually win some races. So,
yeah, he's a very good
it's
driver.
a good move by Uncle Ron, Max.
Oh,
Yeah,
Uncle
nice
Ron.
move.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about Renault. Obviously they've signed Fernando, and Flavio has brought him back to the fold, Max. And obviously no surprise. And I don't know whether they'll.
Is that a good thing, Pep? Do you think, him going back? Do you see this as a step back to a team that he left for a certain reason?
I do, and I also question whether Renault is going to be a race-winning package next year.
Mm-hmm.
They may win a race or a few races, but at the moment, mate, I'm not really bullish on Renault.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like they're going to be a championship contender, for example.
Okay.
But we'll see with Nelson, a new driver,
Mm-hmm.
who I'm very very impressed with, Max. Nelson Piquet Jr. and Alonso. We'll see.
Yeah. Do you think Nelson's been signed under the definition of a number 2 driver? I mean, we hear him in the press saying, "Oh, I'm going to fight Alonso all the way, and I'm going to show him the field too," and all that, which you would expect from a rookie. And I think that's terrific, as I've been on record saying before. But do you think it would be unreasonable, given what Fernando went through, or some might say put himself through at McLaren? Do you think it would be unreasonable for him to assume number 1 status at Renault and for Piquet to fall in line?
Oh, I'm sure he'll demand it. I'm sure he's contracted to it or has demanded it. But if young Nelson starts doing well, then Flavio's a businessman and he will make the decision at the time. At this stage, though, I think Nelson will have to play number 2 to Alonso because Alonso would pretty much demand it.
Yeah, I think it's part of his contract as well, that he is the designated number 1 driver, and I think quite rightly so. But it'll be interesting to see. I've read of late a couple of different articles about Piquet from some ex-drivers and motorsport commentators, and they've said that although fairly quick, he can be quite erratic. So I'd be very interested to see how he goes in his first full season of Formula 1. Don't forget he tested for Renault for a year and has now been given the opportunity. So it'll be interesting to see how much he learns off Fernando Alonso as well, because it's a wonderful opportunity, I think.
Yeah. Mate, personally, I think Renault's going to have so little race wins this year that if there is anyone to win a race, it'll be Fernando, but maybe Nelson will win a race, you never know. Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see what they put out based on the fact that last year's Renault was, quite frankly, a dog. But for all intents and purposes, they seem to have come to the party and addressed those problems, so it'll be interesting to see if that is in fact the case, mate.
Yeah. So moving down the ladder a bit, mate, we've got BMW, who seem to be improving every year, and again are sort of touting themselves as being potentially doing very well this year. And the same driver lineup, Kubica, who I love, and Quick Nick, who's he's still doing okay, Max. But
I like Nick.
It's a very strong driver lineup, and BMW are looking better than ever, I've got to say. Don't you agree?
Well, I totally agree. BMW have it's been sort of incremental performance increases over the last couple of years. We've got a very shrewd operator in Dr. Mario Thyssen at the reins. He's not getting ahead of himself. I think their driver lineup is fantastic. I've always liked Nick Heidfeld. I always thought he was a very solid, quick driver. Robert Kubica is in his 3rd season of Formula 1 and has really impressed everyone. This kid's great. Just needs a couple of rough edges ironed off him, but this guy is the real deal.
Yeah.
And BMW, we've no reason to believe that they won't progress next year, because for the last couple of years they've made these incremental increases in performance. They've got a now stable driver lineup, and I think they'll be a bit of a surprise packet. And I'd love to see them get their first win. I don't necessarily think that will be the case, but I wouldn't rule it out, and I'd be cheering from a high if they secured their first win this year.